Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to be looking at the installation of vinyl plank flooring on this beautiful open staircase here. So starting out with the product, we have modified the flat vinyl planks into these open stair nosings. You can find us at stepupvinyl.ca and get in touch for us to make that. We've also prepared the open-ended risers because you can't just cut vinyl or it'll look like that at the side. You need the top to be wrapped around the edge and a few extra pieces for us to be able to make the nosings for that bottom step with the post. Here is a look at the tools that we're going to be using, and I'll go through what's being used along the way. And yeah, we're going to get started on this installation. So this homeowner had contacted us. They are putting the vinyl below the stairs. They're putting the vinyl above the stairs, and they wanted it to be the exact same vinyl all the way up the stairs. And that's exactly what we do here at Step Up. So no matter the dimensions, no matter the shape, we do have a solution for it. A lot of customers just buy the stair nosings from us and install them themselves when it is a closed stair, but for these open stair projects, they are completely custom. So to get started, we always start at the bottom of a staircase. Some people question like, oh, then you have to work over the ones that are already installed, but it is really important that you start at the bottom and work your way up. And this has to do with the way that the vinyls are going to overlap and the way that the cut edges are going to work. So for these risers, they've had to be ripped out of the vinyl planks. And so one of the long edges is cut, and no matter how perfect you try to make it, it's not going to be exactly straight. So that goes at the top so that that flat edge can go all the way at the bottom. And is a nice tight finish. And then to be able to cover that cut edge at the top in case there's any slight imperfections on it, you then are going to put the next nosing on over top. And it's going to be a continuous process there. Like I mentioned, these ones are open stairs and this bottom one does have that post involved. So we were not able to manufacture the nosings for it originally and slide it on as the post is in the way. So we're going to be putting them together here. So we have what would normally be a closed stair nosing here. That's going to go on first. The adhesive that you see us using here is the PL Premium. You really want to make sure that those stairs are nice and clean. There's no dust and debris, and you're getting a good amount on before adhering it. This takes 24 to 48 hours to dry. And so again, you do want to limit the amount of usage of walking on these stairs as you go, as it gets in place. So you can see here that that nosing has slid on. That lip over the front is going to be covering the top or the cut edge of that riser and giving you a beautiful finish. So as I mentioned with this one, because of the post, we haven't adhered the end caps on originally before arriving at the job site because we're going to be putting it into place here. So you can see this is a good angle to see how the PL is put on. You want to make sure you get that adhesive right in those edges that were modified into the nosing shape. And then it's going to be slid into place here. Beautiful. So anytime that we are adhering vinyl that doesn't have a click on it, we're going to use some tape to put it into place. So this is often used when you have a lay flat vinyl that doesn't have a click there, or in situations like this. Obviously the vinyl did have a click to make this tread the depth that it is, but that edge one coming in needs to be taped into place so that nothing gets shifted along the way. We're going to then continue up the staircase. So we're going to be doing this riser next. This one, because it has that open edge, we created here at Step Up. We're able to take the wear layer, the color layer off the top and bend it around the edge. So it has a nice edge there. You can see that zigzag pattern that we use with the PL Premium to get a nice adhered finish here. And what you're going to notice is as you put this riser on, it is therefore going to be covering the back maybe 1/4 inch of the tread that was just installed. Again, this is strategic for the process in which we are installing, because again, that back edge of the tread is going to be the part that has been ripped or cut and might be slightly imperfect. When you're working on existing stairs, there's always slight angles, slight dips, slight wears. And so this process of going from the bottom to the top lets you have some slight imperfections at the back. There might be spots where there's, you know, 1/8 of an inch of a gap. And then this riser is just going to cover that so that you have that beautiful finish. And then again, you're putting the next nosing into place and it's going to be covering the top of that riser. So these nosings were manufactured ahead of time based off of the exact measurements that we had. So they do have that end cap for the open stairs already in place. And the adhesive was already applied. And so we were able to get it in. So in a lot of our videos, you do see us moving pretty quickly through the jobs. This is due to a lot of prep work. So generally when we have an installation, we're going to spend basically a day on the job for a full staircase, getting everything cut to size, measured, and ready to go. And then we will do the adhesion and the formal installation all in one go. The reason we don't do that as we go, again, because we are installing from the bottom to the top, we don't want to be walking on the stairs very much. And so you want everything to be cut to length ahead of time so you're not going up and down, getting measurements, dry fitting, etc., etc. So this angle gives you a better view of that tread that was just put in place, how it has the cover over that open edge there. And we're just going to continue on with that next riser here, getting that adhesive on it and getting it put in place. We'd really, really love it if these videos are helpful for you, if you'd consider subscribing. And as I mentioned, our website is stepupvinyl.ca. We are located in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, but we do ship our products internationally. So if you are interested in getting some nosings made or created or having us come out to do an installation, please reach out through the website and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But if you check out our channel here on YouTube, you're going to see lots and lots of videos, lots of details, how to install the different nosings, all the different nosings we have, as well as just helpful advice in general. If you're new to finding and buying vinyl, it can be really, really overwhelming. The industry likes to change its terminology, likes to use a lot of terminology that could be confusing, and it might be hard to know what's the most important. So you can check out some of our videos that we have about knowing what to do when you're buying vinyl, whether you're planning to put it on your stairs or not. We got lots of helpful hints there for you to do. So we'd love it if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and check out the channel. All right, so as we continue along here, you can see that we're basically repeating the process. As I said before, this is why it's so important to do that kind of dry fit ahead of time, so that everything is ready to go. It's all laid out. We know the order that we're going, and we're just going to go one after the other. The really nice thing about installing on these open stairs is that it does give you the flexibility to continue installing along the side, as opposed to having to actually stand on the already installed stairs. But that is the one downside a lot of people mention in the comments about installing from the bottom to the top. However, our technicians are really, really great. They know exactly how to stand on the stairs, how to do it as minimally as possible, so that there isn't any shifting. And like I said, it just gives the most beautiful finish with the riser going over the back of the tread so that there's that solid smooth line that's going to be there, and then the lip going over the top of that riser. And that's really just going to give you the flexibility to get an absolutely perfect finish without having to be so exact in all of your angles and all of your cuts. That's always the goal, but in the reality of construction, especially on stairs, we know there's always going to be those little situations. And so this lets you focus on that left to right. So getting that nosing in place there, you can see always tapping, making sure we're in place. You want to make sure if you're installing yourself that the nosing is flush against the wood that's there. You don't want there to be any gapping that's happening that could cause any troubles for you down the road. So again, that would have been something that was done in the dry fit process, but of course it's very important as you're installing to get that really quality finish, to be checking it along the way and making sure everything is tight and secure and gonna last a lifetime. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love that pattern of glue. I find it so soothing, and I hope you do as well. So we continue along, always pushing it into place, making sure we get that really good tack finish. You will notice that the backing has been left on the vinyls. The majority of the time, the backing that is on the vinyls, you do want to leave it into place because it gives it that extra, that cushioning feel that you get when you walk on the vinyl. And when you are going onto flooring at the top of the stairs or at the bottom, you want it to be that consistent height and that consistent weight. Obviously, there's different materials that are used as backing, and depending on the material that you have, the adhesives are going to work better or worse depending on it. But the majority of the time, the backing that's there, it's fine to leave in place and to do that installation right with it. You just might have to adjust the adhesive that you're using. All right, so I mentioned before that we'd be talking about the tools that we're using along the way, but as you've noticed, we've really only seen this caulking gun being used on the adhesive as we go. The majority of the tools that we use were done in that dry fit process that I mentioned before, but it's not a ton of them, honestly. For the installation itself, as I said, you need the PL adhesive. You can see us going through the process of changing it out right here, and the gun to do it, an X-Acto knife to cut off the top, and then a little chisel or a flat tool that you might use to help get those risers pressed down or get things moved into place. But that's really kind of it. Some people like to use a rubber mallet when they're pushing it on, but as our installers have done it so much, they like doing it by hand and feeling it that way. And also vinyl, especially at edges, can be quite delicate in the installation process. It's great once it's in place, but we just prefer not to do that, but you could do that if you would like to. For the dry fit process, you're going to need tools to be able to cut the vinyl. Vinyl can be cut with an X-Acto knife when it is flat, but generally that's not something you're going to want to be doing when you're having to go along a long board to do the width of it. So a table saw is generally what we prefer to use for that process. And then we have, it's literally a vinyl floor cutter that we use to cut the lengths. And we can link those in the description below. I know we do have a few videos out there too of us comparing different ones, depending on the work that you're going to be doing. As for the nosings themselves, if you purchase them from us, we always make them a little bit longer than you need. Oh, there's that little tool you see here where we're pushing down the riser to get a nice flush finish there. But as I was saying, if you buy the nosings from us, they will be longer than you need, and that is done intentionally. As I mentioned, stairs that are already existing are never absolutely perfect. There's always angles to them. Each stair is a slightly different length. And so you want to be doing the cuts on site when you're doing constant measurements and dry fitting them into place. Once they are bent into the nosing shape, you're not going to be able to use that X-Acto knife to cut anymore. You're also not going to be able to use those vinyl cutters that you use on flat vinyl. So you're going to definitely need a saw that you can use for that if you're doing that installation. Some customers choose to ask us to just bend them at the length that they need, but that really doesn't give you that exact finish for those stairs. So we definitely prefer to do it that way. But if you need installation, as you can see, we do it. So you can reach out at stepupvinyl.ca, and we have our team, as well as lots of contractors and installers that are happy to do that for you to get that beautiful finish. I know a lot of people like to try to do it themselves, but especially with stairs, this is something that's going to last you a really, really long time. That is the beauty of vinyl. It's not going to wear down. Depending on the wear layers that you get on it, it's going to last 20, 30 years. And so you want to make sure it's installed properly and it has a really beautiful finish so that you don't need to worry about it anymore, right? It's in place, it's waterproof, it's scratch proof, and it is going to last quite a while. So you see us getting here to this wonky little nosing up at the top here, between the post and the little piece there and the landing being angled. This one was not fully made ahead of time, as you can see. So it's going to be installed on site. So you can see this nosing looks really, really small. That's because it's accommodating for the post that's there, and because it doesn't have that second board added. All of the ones that you've seen being put on so far actually have a second flat vinyl board that was already clicked on and permanently adhered to the nosing piece that was done ahead of time. If you watch any of our videos about the closed closed stair installation, you will see that process where when you buy it from us, it's simply the nosing. It won't cover that full tread, and then you're going to be clicking on that second piece. But because these are for the closed stairs and they were fully manufactured ahead of time, for most of the treads that you saw here, those were already in place. But for this top one, it was not, because it's just an easier installation process to do it as we go. So starting by getting that riser into place, again, making sure that that open edge has that beautiful finish there. And you're going to see in the end shots what that looks like there. Getting that into place, and then we can go ahead and get into the nosing itself. Yeah, this customer reached out, as I mentioned. They're doing this beautiful color vinyl above the stairs and eventually below the stairs as well. And especially with this landing being a little bit of a funky shape and the open edges, that's why they wanted us to come in and do the install. You will notice that on the left-hand side that is open, normally stairs do have spindles in place that go along the railing. Those have to be removed for the installation process. So that's why it has that nice open side there for us to work along, so we don't have to be traveling up and down the stairs. And then those will be added back after the fact once the vinyl is adhered into place. As I mentioned, it does take 24 to 48 hours to adhere. It suggests that you stay off of the stairs as much as possible for the first 24 hours and use them carefully after that. Again, a little bit of a sacrifice, but for the longevity of the install, it is definitely worth it. All right, so we're going to get this exact piece on here. You can see it's cut out for that post that's there, getting it nice and tight and in place. And then we're seeing that walk up. You'll notice that he's stepping sideways and right near the inside of the step. That is the way that you move up the stairs if you need to when they are wet. This puts an inward pressure on the vinyl, so any shifting would be towards the riser, which it can't because it's already tight in that place, and so it's not going to be shifting out. So that is our way that we travel on the stairs when we have to. And you'll notice he came all the way up to the top. So instead of staying on the stair, we're going to be doing it that way. Because this click was put into place on site, we're going to be taping this in to hold it into place and getting it in, as I mentioned. A vinyl is meant to be clicked at a slight angle. If you've ever installed vinyl on the flat flooring, it generally does have an angle. So in some of these nooks and crannies where things are tucked in and around posts, it can be quite a finicky job to get it in place. But as I said, our installers have done it so many times now. There's not much that they haven't seen and that they can't get done. If anyone's worried about the tape, yes, it's a very adhesive tape, but it does come off when needed because the stairs are so strongly in place. It comes off and it really does have that beautiful finish. So just making sure we have absolute perfection here and everything is clicked in beautifully. And then we will be able to continue along on that installation process. So again, seeing that sideways foot stance and the pressure being straight up and down, not moving left or right as we move along, is going to be the way that we can use the stairs without moving anything or adjusting anything. The stairs above here are closed stairs. You can see there's going to be a wall on both sides. That's what I mean by closed. And so they're not going to be featured in this video. As I mentioned, we have lots of videos that show you how to do those ones. This one, we just wanted to focus on this open stair here. So getting that end cap into place, you might have noticed lots of detailed cutting to make sure to go in and around the different items that are there, getting that adhesive into place, making sure it's perfect, and then we'll be getting the tape on. The final step once you have done the installation is to add some caulking. So you don't want to add any caulking along the seams where there is vinyl to vinyl, but anywhere where there is vinyl to wall or to trim, that is generally going to be caulked. We generally use the color that is the wall or the trim, so most likely it is going to be a white caulking that is done, and that just gives you a really beautiful, clean finish. It's generally not filling holes per se, because our installation should be exact enough, but it's just giving you that waterproof, dustproof barrier between the wall and the edge, giving that nice clean finish that's there. And again, we do have videos about the way that we like to do it and the tools that we like to use to give it that really beautiful finish. So there we have it. So now you can really see those edges there because they were cut so beautifully into place. And you can see the edge of the risers there. They have it wrapped around, but this is also a place where we're going to be applying just a little bit of caulking, just because, again, used stairs, they're going to have some variation in place there. So that is our beautiful finish. Again, please make sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button. Check out our channel and our website at stepupvinyl.ca, and we will see you in the next video.